Let's see what will make someone's heart explode and pull it back just a little.
Seen it once, don't remember when. Think it's time to watch it again. Follow, subscribe, stay up to date. Episodes drop the last Friday. It's a Matt, forgot that. It's a Matt, forgot that. It's a Matt, forgot that podcast.
And welcome to the Matt Forgot That podcast, the place to recollect and reminisce. I'm your host, Matt Seroski, filmmaker, film fan. Each episode, I'm going to rewatch and review a movie or TV pilot that I've seen before but don't quite remember. It could be a blockbuster, critic's choice, or cult classic. To join in on the conversation, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, at Matt Seroski. You can subscribe to my YouTube page where I'll post videos and clips from the show. If you have any opinions on what I've discussed, or want to share your own trip down memory lane, use the hashtag MattForgotThat on social. Before we start, we have another edition of I Just Don't Get It, where I discuss a movie or a filmmaker that seems to be widely acclaimed that I just don't get. This time around, we're talking about the filmography of Quentin Tarantino. Now, I get it. He's one of the most influential filmmakers in modern cinema, known for his distinctive style, combining sharp dialogue, nonlinear storytelling, genre blending, graphic violence, and pop culture reference. This is all right up my alley. His films are celebrated for their rich, often controversial themes, and have garnered a dedicated following for their bold, unique approach to filmmaking. But I also just don't get it. I thought his debut, Reservoir Dogs, was a gritty crime thriller that emphasizes themes of loyalty, betrayal, and the brutal consequences of violence. I instantly liked it upon viewing, and it's one of those films that I continue to watch. Then, Pulp Fiction came out, and I found myself wondering, what the hell am I watching? It felt like 3 short stories that had minimal connection and a glowing briefcase. Come on. But Tarantino won me back with Jackie Brown. I'm a huge fan of blaxploitation films from the 70s, and think Pam Grier is such a pioneering actress who played strong, empowered women who fought against injustice. Now, I appreciate that he is a film historian. He is passionate, and I love that. But with the films that followed, I couldn't figure out if he was making original films as an homage, or just ripping off obscure films completely. Because who would know the difference? And then the runtimes. Not everything has to be a 2.5-hour epic. I know, I say this a lot, I should keep track. If you're playing Matt Forgot That Bingo, or taking a shot every time I mention runtime, go for it. I just couldn't amp myself up for the rest of his films. But I'm trying, and it starts with this episode. It shouldn't be a surprise that I'm rewatching Pulp Fiction. The last time I saw it was probably in 1995, so I feel like I'm watching with new eyes now. And then on my own time, I'm gonna watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and work my way through the rest of his films. So while this is, and I just don't get it, I think I'm starting to get it. On to the main attraction. Each review will end with a ranking out of 5 stars. 1 star is skip it, 2 stars watch at your own risk, 3 stars standard fare, 4 stars worth checking out, and 5 stars must see. Now, if I give a title 5 stars, it doesn't mean I'm comparing it to Casablanca, Jaws, or Seinfeld. I rank titles based on other movies or TV series in that genre and at that time period. In this episode of the podcast, I'm rewatching and reviewing Pulp Fiction from 1994. It was directed by Quentin Tarantino, who helmed Jackie Brown, Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2, Inglourious Bastards, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He's been nominated for 8 Academy Awards, winning 2 for Best Writing, Screenplay written directly for the screen for Pulp Fiction, and Django Unchained. The screenplay was written by the director from a story he co-wrote with Roger Avary, who scribed Killing Zoe, The Rules of Attraction, Silent Hill, and Beowulf. Growing up, they worked together at Video Archives, a video store in Southern California. Pulp Fiction features a star-studded cast, especially for an independent film. It stars John Travolta in a comeback role, and Uma Thurman. The characters of Winston Wolfe, Jules, Honey Bunny, and Pumpkin were written specifically for Harvey Keitel, Samuel L. Jackson, Amanda Plummer, and Tim Roth respectively. Keitel was influential in convincing Bruce Willis to take a part in the film. It also features Ving Rhames, Eric Stoltz, Christopher Walken, and Rosanna Arquette. So let's jump into it. This is what I remember. The infamous dance scene between John Travolta and Uma Thurman, though I forgot it was performed to Chuck Berry's You Never Can Tell. The shot of adrenaline to the heart of Uma Thurman, I think she overdosed or something. And last, the glowing briefcase. What the hell is that about? Now I'm heading off to watch the movie. This is what I forgot. The film opens with a little bit of reading of the definition of the word pulp by the American Heritage Dictionary, before we meet a pair of small-time crooks, Honey Bunny and Pumpkin, who decide to rob a diner. Then two hitmen, Vincent Vega and Jules Winfield, working for gangster Marcellus Wallace, are tasked with retrieving a briefcase that he wants to protect from business associates who tried to screw him over. Meanwhile, Butch Coolidge, an aging boxer, is being paid by Wallace to take a dive in the 5th round of his next bout. Later, Vincent Vega is sent by Marcellus to take his wife, Mia, a former actress who was in a failed television pilot, out for an evening at a 1950s-style diner, where she challenges him to a dance contest. Eventually, all of these stories end up coming together. Pulp Fiction plays with the concept of fate, showing how seemingly insignificant moments, like a chance encounter or a random decision, can drastically alter the course of people's lives. Here's a quote without context. If my answers frighten you, then you should cease asking scary questions. Pulp Fiction is a groundbreaking, nonlinear crime film that weaves together multiple interconnected stories filled with quirky characters, dark humor, and intense violence. Tarantino subverts the traditional 3-act formula, tossing aside linear storytelling in favor of an intricate web of narratives that fold in on themselves, like a puzzle you can't stop solving. At the heart of Pulp Fiction is its rich ensemble cast, whose performances remain some of the most iconic in modern film. Samuel L. Jackson's portrayal of Jules Winfield, a philosophical hitman with a penchant for quoting Bible verses before executing his targets, is legendary. John Travolta in The Comeback of a Century is captivating as Vincent Vega, the disillusioned hitman caught up in a spiral of violence, drugs, and strange coincidences. His chemistry with Uma Thurman, who plays the enigmatic Mia Wallace, elevates the film to another level. Then there's Bruce Willis as Butch, the boxer who betrays a powerful gangster and ends up on the run. His storyline is a darkly comic and violent redemption arc. But what sets Pulp Fiction apart is Tarantino's script with its sharp, memorable dialogue. The conversations with the characters feel like mini-scenes in themselves, with pop culture references, casual musings, and profound moments. He blends genres brilliantly, creating a film that feels both familiar and also entirely new. Tarantino often employs long takes and static shots, which create tension by allowing moments to breathe and unfold naturally. This allows the viewers to settle into a scene and pick up on nuances in the dialogue or character behavior. The violence in the film is often exaggerated, over the top, and at times comically absurd. A masterpiece of filmmaking, brimming with razor-sharp wit, unforgettable characters, and a narrative structure that defies convention. Tarantino's calling card, and an absolute must-see for anyone who loves films. Now for a little trivial trivia. The character portrayed by John Travolta, Vincent Vega, is brothers with Vic Vega, Mr. Blonde from Reservoir Dogs, Tarantino's previous film. Pulp Fiction was produced by Lawrence Bender, a close friend of Tarantino who's brought many of his films to the big screen. The movie was shot in and around the Los Angeles area. The cinematography was captured by Andres Sekula, whose filmography includes Reservoir Dogs, Hackers, American Psycho, and For the Love of Money. It was edited by Sally Menk, who worked on Mulholland Falls, Jackie Brown, All the Pretty Horses, Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2, and was nominated for 2 Academy Awards for Best Achievement in Film Editing for Pulp Fiction and Inglourious Basterds. There is no traditional film score composed for Pulp Fiction. The soundtrack features songs by Kool and the Gang, Al Green, Dusty Springfield, and Rick Nelson. The runtime is 2 hours 34 minutes. It had a budget of $8 million and grossed $213 million at the box office. It was nominated for 7 Oscars at the 1995 Academy Awards for Best Picture, Director, Actor in a Leading Role, Actor in a Supporting Role, Actress in a Supporting Role, Film Editing, and winning for Best Writing, Screenplay written directly for the screen. On the Ski Index, I give it 4 out of 5 stars. If you've seen Pulp Fiction and have opinions on the movie, let me know what you think using the hashtag #MattForgotThat. Moving right along, each episode, I'm going to post throwback clips that I think people should watch. It could be movie trailers, music videos, interviews, or something completely random. Search for my YouTube page and there'll be a playlist called Matt Forgot That Playback. Jolt Cola made a huge impact on the soft drink market in the 1980s and 90s, with its bold marketing strategy and memorable slogan, all the sugar and twice the caffeine. It became synonymous with youthful rebellion, late-night study sessions, and the chokehold that caffeine had on society. It was developed by Clem Boix, a marketing executive and businessman who saw a gap in the market for a soft drink that could deliver more than just sugar. He had previously worked at Pepsi and recognized the growing trend of caffeinated beverages like coffee and energy drinks, and decided to create a cola that would cater to a similar audience, those who need an energy boost and can't afford cocaine. At the time, the average can of cola contained about 35 milligrams of caffeine, but Jolt Cola said, "Let's see what will make someone's heart explode and pull it back just a little," and added 71 milligrams of caffeine per 12-ounce can. It was also sweetened with a heavy dose of sugar. Jolt's branding immediately tapped into the counterculture movement of the mid-80s. The packaging, featuring bright red and white colors with bold fonts, stood out on the shelves and screamed, "Energy!" The company positioned Jolt Cola as a drink for rebels, hard workers, and anyone who needed a kick, whether for a late-night study session or an all-night party. By 1987, it gained a cult following, particularly among college students and young adults, and helped fuel the growing demand for energy drinks in the United States. It became a pop culture phenomenon, with the brand featured in films and television series. The word-of-mouth marketing, underground fan support, and the drink's reputation was embraced by musicians and Silicon Valley execs looking for that boost of energy. Jolt Cola was sold in multiple flavors beyond the original cola, including cherry, diet, and the now infamous version called Jolt Energy. The brand also experimented with packaging, including cans and bottles designed for on-the-go consumers. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, other energy drinks hit the market, including Red Bull and Monster, both of which began to dominate in sales. These brands focused not just on the caffeine, but on the idea of performance, adding ingredients such as taurine and ginseng. Jolt Cola started to decline in popularity, but never fully disappeared. There were short-lived revivals in the 2010s, but was eventually discontinued. At the time, it was a pioneering force in the energy drink market, and the first to offer that boost to customers. I've selected a couple of clips about the famous brand. They're all available in the Matt Forgot That Playback playlist on YouTube. Check it out. Now it's time for the recommendation. Yes, that's the word recommendation with Matt in the middle. I'm going to end each podcast with my own recommendation of a movie or TV series. Today I'm talking about Remote Control. It was a quirky, fast-paced game show that debuted on MTV in 1987. Hosted by Ken Ober, with Colin Quinn providing comedic commentary, and later Adam Sandler as Stud Boy. What else? The concept was simple. In each episode, 3 contestants sat in lounge chairs behind podiums that displayed their score. They had a remote control in their hands to buzz in and answer questions. A contestant would choose a channel, which corresponded with a question, which were rooted in pop culture with a heavy emphasis on TV shows, movies, music, and general knowledge. The game was divided into 3 rounds. The first featured multiple-choice trivia questions, the second involved visual puzzles and sound bites, and the final round allowed contestants to engage in a high-stakes zapping contest where they had to quickly answer rapid-fire questions to avoid elimination. Oh, where their chair would crash through the wall as they'd leave the studio. Remote Control was a celebration of the TV generation, playing on the idea that if you passed the time sitting in front of the boob tube, wasting away listening to music, or spending money on movie tickets, you weren't a slacker, you were a unique expert in the world of media. Its tone was playful and irreverent, a perfect fit for MTV's youth-focused programming in the late 1980s. Contestants competed for grand prizes like cash, quirky gadgets, and remote control t-shirts, with parting gifts including a Casio keyboard or Gold Star radio. Despite its short run, Remote Control became a cult classic, remembered for its offbeat humor, eccentric trivia, and its role in launching the careers of several notable MTV personalities. Remote Control was on for 5 seasons from 1987 to 1990. That's all for this edition of Matt Forgot That. Thanks for listening to me reminisce. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Matt Seroski. You can subscribe to my YouTube page where I'll post videos and clips from the show. If you have any opinions on what I've discussed, or want to share your own trip down memory lane, use the hashtag MattForgotThat on social. Head over to mattseroski.com for all the latest news and updates, and come back next time for the rewatch and review. The soundtrack featured songs by Kool and the Gang, Al Green, Dusty Rhodes. Yeah, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. The infamous dance scene between John Travolta and Uma Thurman, though I forgot it was performed to Chuck Berry's Never Can You Tell. That's not right. Wow, dyslexia kicked in. Pulp Fiction plays with the concept of fate, showing how seemingly insignificant moments, like a chance encounter... Chance?